Hello everyone, welcome to IAS Baba's 60-day plan rapid revision series for Prelims 2022, and this is day 4. Again we are going to take up history, and as we have discussed in the last class, chronology is one type of question where UPSC is fond of, and the second one is deep into current affairs question where UPSC picks up some of the editorials and then it asks a question. So some of those we take up here and also some chronologies. So these are the topics we are going to discuss, and here, before going to the topic, like whenever we find any question in UPSC, which we find that they are from unconventional sources, so we have to make sure that some of them will be from conventional sources also. So here I have a fact which says that Rabindranath Tagore, he translated Janaganamana in Madanapalle district. So this was asked in 2021 prelims. So this is present in NCERT, but not in any chapter, but below national anthem. So it is present in diversity book of sociology. So we make sure that such critical observations we do so that we will hit these also. Then beginning with this, the reformists and the revivalists. So in the social reform movement, we had reformists and the revivalists. So what is the difference between these two? Reformists are those which wanted to have the updation of the religion as and when the time came, but revivalists were those which said that the old school, so that was the original one and that was the purest form. So apart from that, everything is impure. So here we have some of the reformists. They are Brahmo Samaj, Prarthana Samaj, Satya Shodhak Samaj, Aligarh movement, Young Bengal movement. So all these are the reformists. And however, we have some revivalists also. Arya Samaj, Deobandi movement, Wahhabi movement, Titumir's movement. So all these. So when we take up Arya Samaj, they said that go back to Vedas, infallibility of Vedas. So all these, it makes sure that they believed in that the past is the purest one or the oldest school is the purest one. So the basic difference, and then in that context we also revise some of the reformists and the revivalists. So first comes the Rajaram Mohan Rai. So here Rajaram Mohan Rai comes with the 1828, the foundation of the Brahmo Samaj, and then the 1815, the foundation of the Atmiya Sabha, and then some of the books he wrote were Gifts to Monotheists and Precepts of Jesus, and then Gift of Mother in Persian and Turfat ul Mahuddin. And then the newspapers he written were the Brahmanical Magazine and Sambat Kaumudi or Sambat Kaumudi. So anyhow we want, we can pronounce. And then he supported David Hare's effort to found the Hindu College in 1817. And in 1825 he established Vedanta College. And then Debendranath Tagore, so he wrote Tattvabodhini Patrika, and we know that Debendranath Tagore was the close confidant of Rajaram Mohan Rai. Then Anand Mohan Bose and Shiv Chandra Dev and Umesh Chandra Datta, so they started Sadharana Brahmo Samaj. And Atmaram Pandurang, he founded Prarthana Samaj. So we remember this. And then D.K. Karve, M.G. Ranade, so they started Widow Remarriage Movement and Widows Home Association. So Karve, Ranade, so all these are Maharashtrian names. So we make sure that we pay some importance to the guessworks also, so that they will give some hint in the prelims. That is the names of various regions. Then Henry Vivian Derozio, he started Young Bengal movement in 1820s, and then Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Servants of India Society in 1905. And his newspaper was Hitavada, which was started in 1911. Then come to next one, the pre-Indian National Congress organizations. So first one was the Bangabhasha Prakashika Sabha. So that was started in 1836, and then the Zamindari Association or the Landholders Society. So again in 1836, the same year. Then the Bengal British India Society 1843 and British Indian Association 1851. So here, while going through the chronology, it is like 3, 3, 4 and 5. So 3, 4, 5 we can remember here. So this numeric, if you remember, then I don't think there will be a confusion. And a brief history. So Bangabhasha Prakashika Sabha was founded by associates of the Rajaram Mohan Rai, and then the Zamindari Association. So but obvious they were founded by the landlords of Bengal. And then the Bengal British India Society, so that aimed for dissemination of information for welfare people, and British Indian Association founded by the Landholder Society and Bengal British Indian Society. So these two organizations, they came together and found this. And these organizations' demand was more formal, that is they wanted separate legislature and separation of executive and judiciary. So likewise, so it was more legal in nature. So likewise we remember. And remember 3, 4, 5 here. Then come to next, the East Indian Association 1866, then Indian League 1875, and the Indian Association of Kolkata or the Indian National Association 1876. So here 677 or 656 or 677, anything we want we can remember. And East Indian Association, so that was founded by Dadabhai Naoroji, and it was first such nationalist organization in England. And then the Indian League was founded by Shishir Kumar Ghosh, and then the Indian Association founded by Surendranath Banerjee and Anand Mohan Bose. And the first All India conference of this was held in 1833, and in 1886 it merged with the Indian National Congress. So we remember these. And then coming to next, the Pune Sarvajanik Sabha, so that was in 1867, and the Bombay Presidency Association 1885, and the Madras Mahajan Sabha 1884. So here Pune came first, and then Madras, and then Bombay. So we can remember PMB here. And then some facts, the Pune Sarvajanik Sabha, so that aimed for serving as a bridge between government and the people, and it popularized the peasants' rights. So all peasant movements were given a leg up, and it was encouraged by the Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. Then Bombay Presidency Association founded by Badruddin Tayyabji, Firoz Shah Mehta and K.T. Telang. And then Madras Mahajan Sabha, M. Veeraraghavachari, then Subramanya Iyer and Ananda Charulu. So here we will get one hint, that is Achari, Charulu. So all these are South Indian names. So we make sure that we pay some attention to that also. Then social awakening among Islamic community. So some of the social reformers and movements. So Abdul Wahab of Arabia and Shah Waliullah. So they started Wahhabi or Waliullah movement. So it was a revivalist movement, and the revivalists, they had respond to the Western influences. So they said that we should not allow any Western influences. We have to make sure that the past one, the indigenous one, is the purest one. Then Mir Nitar Ali, known as Titu Mir. So Titu Mir's movement was started by Titu Mir or Mir Nitar Ali and Muslim peasants of Bengal, and this was started by Muslim peasants of Bengal against the landlords and the British Indian planters. And then Aji Shariat Allah. So Faraidi movement was started by Adi Shariat Allah, and that was in East Bengal, and again it was a revivalist. And the eradication of social innovations or un-Islamic practices was one of its goal. So these are some of them. Continuing, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. So the Ahmadiyya movement was started by him, and the Ahmadiyya movement people believed that Allah has come in the form of, or the Messiah had come in the form of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. So to end the religious war and bloodshed. So this was having some non-violent touch. So we remember that. Then Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. So he started Aligarh movement, and he started Muhammadan Anglo-Oriental College at Aligarh, and his magazine was Tahdib ul Akhlaq. So we remember these. And then Muhammad Qasim Nanatawi and Rashim Ahmad Gangawi. So the Deobandi school was started by him in 1866, and it was revivalist, and it supported formation of INC, Indian National Congress, and in 1888 it issued fatwa against Sir Syed Khan. So it supported INC but not Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. So we remember these ones. And then come to next, history of Ferguson and Hindu colleges. Friends, these were present in the editorials whenever it was opened from the COVID-19 and others. So we make sure that that also become important. Say for example, Kanha National Park was opened after COVID-19, and we had a question on swamp deer and Kanha National Park. So Ferguson University, it was founded in 1885 by the Deccan Education Society, and the college is named after Sir James Ferguson, the then governor of Bombay. So he might have donated the maximum, that is why his name is being kept. And then permanent Indian nationalists such as Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Vishnu Shastri Chiplankar, Gopal Ganesh Agarkar, so all they led their efforts to the formation of this new English school. So this was about the Ferguson University, and Deccan Education Society means it comes somewhere around the Maharashtra region. So we remember all the leaders belonging to that region. Then Hindu College, founded in 1899 by Krishanji Dasji Gurwale. So in backdrop of nationalist struggle against the British Raj, and Hindu College was a center for intellectual and political debate during the Quit India movement. And it is the only college in Delhi to have students' parliament since 1935. Friends, this is in Delhi, and this is not the Central Hindu College of Banaras or the Banaras Hindu University, which was founded by Madan Mohan Malaviya. So we have a comparison here, and Hindu College is different, Central Hindu College was different. So we remember here. Then come to next, literacy and the social work of Jyothiba Phule. So what are his literary works? Jyothiba Phule, he had an organization of Satyasodhak Samaj, we know that, and that was started in 1873. And some of the books were Sarvajanik, Satyadharma and Gulamgiri. Friends, the songs of prisons, such questions have often been coming in the UPSC prelims. So if we know the famous books written by famous freedom fighters, but obvious we can have some eliminations. So some of the social works were the leadership of Samaj came from the backward classes, that is Malis, Telis, Kunbis, Saris and Dangars. So he made sure that the backward class people will take up the leadership position. Then he was a pioneer in the women's education, and with the help of his wife Jyothiba Phule, he opened a girls' school at Pune. Then he was a pioneer of widow remarriage movement in Maharashtra and also opened a home for widows in 1854. And Phule used the symbol of Raja Bali. So unlike the forward class movement who made Rama as their deity, and he made Raja Bali as his deity to make sure that the backward class people, they earn equal respect. Then come to next, Christian missionaries in India. So Christianity was introduced to the Indian subcontinent by Thomas the Apostle in 52 AD, and it was in Kerala. And then Zygmunt Balk, who came to Tranquobar in 1706, he translated Bible to Tamil language. So Tranquobar is also in Tamil Nadu. Then following his footsteps, William Carey came to India in 1793, and Charles Grant, he drafted a proposal to allow Christian missionaries to work in India in 1810. So by the time that Charles Grant, he drafted the proposal, William Carey and others were working. So by now, Danish missionaries were already working in India under the leadership of William Carey. And then Chartered Act 1813 granted permission to open Christian missionaries in India, and Chartered Act 1833 formulated regulations for permanent missionaries in India. And Mother Teresa came to India in 1931, and in 1946 she started Missionaries for Charity. Friends, this Missionaries for Charity was under the scanner of FCRA. So that is why its license were cancelled. So in that context, all these will become important. Then come to next, the peasant revolts, that is the chronology. So in the wake of Farm Bill controversies, all peasant revolts will become important. So first one is the Indigo revolt. So 1859 to 60, the Digambar Biswas and Bishnu Biswas of Nadia district, Bengal, and Neil Burton. So this was written by Dinbandhu Mitra, and that was based on this agitation, and it was the first satyagraha movement in modern India. Then came Pabna agrarian leagues. So that was against the Act 10 of 1859. So this was exploitative for farmers, and in 1885 Bengal Tenancy Act was passed, which resolved most of the problems, and Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, R.C. Dutt and Indian Association under Surendranath Banerjee, they all supported this movement. Then come to next, Deccan riots. During the Deccan famine in 1875, Vasudev Balwan Phadke, he took the leadership, and this was against money lenders, and he is regarded as the father of modern Indian revolutionaries. So we remember that Vasudev Balwan Phadke. So he is called the father of modern Indian revolutionaries, and the riots ended with the Deccan Peasants Relief Act. So again it was a success. Then Rampa Rebellion. Rampa Rebellion of 1922. So it was also known as the Manniyam Rebellion or the Koya Rebellion. So it involved the Koya tribes, and then it was against the tribe chieftains called Mutadars. So we remember Mutadars here, and this was led by Alluri Sitaram Raju in Madras Presidency, and it ended with the capture and killing of the Raju. So the leader was captured and killed, and that ended with a tragedy. Then come to next, the important tribal revolts. So here we have the Chaurs, that is the first tribes to revolt against British land revenue policy in West Bengal. So that was in 1769. Then Khazis. So Khazis, we know they are from Meghalaya in Assam under the leadership of Thirat Singh. So against the presence of army in the agency. So here they have a unique cause. So we remember that. Then Coals of Chota Nagpur. So it was a reaction to economic exploitation of East India Company, and it was joined by Mundas, Oravons, Hos. So that led to the famous Munda uprising. So this Hos, it was present in 2021 prelims. So that is why it became important. Then Cones of Odisha. So it was led by Chakra Besai when Lord Hardinge I banned the custom sacrifice. So they also have a unique cause, we remember here. And Gonds, Cones, so all these Odisha tribes we remember in the wake of the Pokso Vedanta controversy. Then Kachanga of Assam. So that was under the leadership of Shambhu Dan. So it was against British land revenue policy. Then Munda, so Birsa Munda, so this has come many times in UPSC. So he revolted against, so the British, and it was against the Christian missionaries. So Christian missionary activities, and Birsa founded a new cult called Singh Bonga. So Singh Bonga means it is a deity. So he preached that everyone should have an attitude or the character of the Singh Bonga. Then he started Sons of the Soil movement called Ulgulan movement. So all these have come, Singbonga haven't come. So we make sure that if it comes again, so that would be the easiest question. Then come to next, Pir Ali Khan, then Raja Nahar Singh and other unsung heroes. Friends, we know that we are celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. So in that context, so Azadi Amrit Mahotsav, so this website carries some of the unsung heroes. So we make sure that we will revise whoever the freedom fighters are being present in that website. So Pir Ali Khan was present. So he was given capital punishment for participating in the freedom struggle of 1857. And he was a bookseller by profession. And he used to secretly distribute important leaflets and pamphlets. So he worked as an informer and he was a bookseller. And here we can see the horrific picture of the Indian freedom fighters being hanged, and in that Pir Ali Khan was one among them. And then Raja Nahar Singh, so Haryana government, so it has come up with a museum for him, so that's why it becomes important. He was a Jat ruler of Ballabgarh in Faridabad, Haryana, and they built a fort in Faridabad around 1739. He was involved in Indian rebellion of 1857, that is Sipai Mutiny, and he joined the forces led by Emperor Bahadur Shah. So we remember Raja Nahar Singh here. And then the women contribution. So Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, it also carried some of the women. So here we have Begum Hazrat Mahal. Friends, Begum Hazrat Mahal, so her name is present in old NCERT Bipin Chandra also. So as a matter of backward linkage, it becomes important. So she was also known as Begum of Awadh, and she played a major role during the first war of independence, that is Sipai Mutiny again, and she worked with Nana Sahib, Tantia Topi, etc. So we know her clearly when we read NCERTs. So again, we give a thought process towards her facts. Then Azizun Nisa. So the history reports that Azizun Nisa, also known as Azizun Bai, was born in Lucknow and she helped pass on important information. So she was also an informer. And Tripurari Sharma, so he has penned Azizun Nisa San Satavan Ka Kissa. So this is the book written. So although the author will not be important, the book becomes important for us. Then come to next one, the home rule, that is the Tilak's home rule versus Annie Beasant's home rule. So friends, here the Tilak's and Annie Beasant's home rule movement were having same ideologies, but the organization was different in its size. So Tilak's league was set up in April, but Annie Beasant's league, so that was set up in September. So Tilak had set up before Annie Beasant set up her league. And the Tilak's home rule activities, so they covered Maharashtra, Karnataka and central provinces, but Annie Beasant's, it covered rest of India. So Annie Beasant had 200 branches, Tilak had 6 branches. So there was some informal agreement that went between them, and this home rule movement was mainly because the INC was in its lowest times due to the Surat split. So they thought that there should be a strong movement again, and that's why they came up with these ideas. Then some of the objectives, so its demands included Swarajya, then formation of linguistic states and education in the vernacular languages. Then Annie Beasant was against supporting British in World War. Okay, so she declared that England's need is India's opportunity. So she said that we have to make use of the opportunity and we have to put a strong struggle. Okay, so she supported Irish and Indian freedom struggle against British. Then coming to next one, the Ramakrishna Mission. So friends, whenever we celebrate Indian Youth Day, that is birthday of Swami Vivekananda, so it becomes important. So this mission was established by Swami Vivekananda in 1897. Objectives of the movement were to bring into existence a band of monks dedicated to a life of renunciation and practical spirituality. So friends, here we remember Vivekananda's famous quote, that is, give me 100 men with muscles of iron and nerves of steel and the intelligence with a wit of electricity, and I will change the history of the world. So this was aimed towards that, and these teachers and workers would spend their time to spread universal message and Vedanta philosophy. Along with that, they had to take up philanthropic and charitable activities. Okay, so they have to protect women, children, irrespective of class, creed, religion, any others. So we have to make sure that we protect weaker sections. Then the mission denounced the caste system, rituals, ceremonies and superstitions. So it propounded rationalism, and the mission established schools, hospitals, dispensaries and others. So even today it is working well. So we have to make sure that we spend some thought process. Then 13th one, works of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. So we have discussed him a brief. So we discuss here again. So he supported women empowerment and opposed Parda system and polygamy. So he was for rationalism, and he condemned the system of Piri and Muridi. So Piri and Muridi, so it is an orthodox Islamic culture, and he condemned that, and he preached the basic commonality of Hindu and Muslim interest. So he said that Hindus and Muslims, so they had a common goals in their lives, nothing different. Then Aligarh movement emerged as a liberal modern trend among the Muslim intelligentsia, and the philosophy was religion should be updated and adaptable with time, and then objective social reforms among Muslims and imparting modern education. So education was one thing, that is why the Aligarh movement and the Oriental colleges were set up. And then in 1878, he was made the member of Imperial Legislative Council, and he was given knighthood in 1888. So this, along with Mahatma Gandhi ji, we remember him. So in the wake of Jallianwala Bagh, Mahatma Gandhi ji, he renounced the knighthood. So that means Gandhi ji and him, they were given knighthoods. Then Pitt's India Act 1784, friends, Pitt's India Act and other important acts, so they also become important in the wake of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. So many of them we had already discussed. So others we take some time to discuss. So this was the first claim of Crown's ownership over the Indian territory acquired by the company, and this act resulted in dual control by British government and the company with final authority resting with the government, and it introduced board of control, we know that, and Governor General was given veto powers, that is some decisions he could take without consulting anyone in India. Then Madras and Bombay presidencies, so they became subordinates of Bengal. So after this came the Queen's Declaration. So, but obviously it was after the Sepoy Mutiny. So all treaties and agreements made with Indian native princes under the authority of East India Company did not cease to exist, but they were to stay, and Crown accepted that. The Queen accepted that. So no more breakage of agreements, and the declaration expressed faith and the rights and dignity and status of the native princes. So they said that we respect the princes and the kings. Then the Indian public was given an assurance that there would be no extension of the current territorial possessions. So no more annexations were promised. Then the most important result was that now onwards the Indian sepoys were enlisted in the regular service in British Army. So now they got permanent jobs in the army. Then come to next, moving with the Government of India Act 1858. So that also came after Queen's Declaration. East India Company was liquidated, and then Indian territories to be governed in the name of British Queen, and the Court of Directors and Board of Control were scrapped, and powers of the company's Court of Directors were vested with the Secretary of State for India. Then the Viceroy and the governors of various presidencies were appointed by the Crown. So this fact is not present in traditional books, that is, governors were also appointed by the Crown. So Viceroy has nothing to do with that. Then Viceroy was to be assisted with the Executive Council. So this we know that. Then this act abolished the dual government of Pitt's India Act. Again, we have learned this in polity. Then this act also ended the doctrine of lapse. So this we didn't learn. We mark it as important. And there was provision for Indians also to be admitted in the service. So in the last slide itself, we learned this. So these are some of the facts we remember. And coming to the last part, friends, again, this is not the time wherein we brood over the results, and this is the time where we have to think towards our efforts. Okay, so make sure that no hard work will go in vain in this world. So if at all you have put in your heart and soul, so you are being born to succeed, and no matter whoever is a hindrance to you, so you go on to achieve something or the other in this world. So make sure that there is no shortcut, and there is only one way for the success. It is the hard work and hard work alone. So do it. All the very best from my side. Good luck, friends.